Welcome, everybody, to Sports Wars College Football Picks and Predictions and Season Team Previews for 2021. As always, sponsored by sportspicks.locals.com, where you can get free football picks and predictions all year long. Today, we'll be talking about the mighty Tigers of Clemson. Will they be able to make it back to the playoffs once again? Will they be back in the national title game? Will they win the national title as they have done several times in the recent tenure? Well, let's take a look at their talent level. Clemson does, without question, return one of the four most talented rosters in the country, along with Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama, and just slightly above Oklahoma. However, this Clemson team has to replace pretty much all of their offensive production, including their, of course, extraordinary quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, their Travis Etienne, their great running back for the last several seasons. They lose, in fact, over 90% of their passing yards, rushing yards, and receiving yards. That's a lot to replace, especially when your first game up on deck is at a neutral site against the Georgia Bulldogs, who have a little bit more talent than you do. Yet Vegas lists their win total for the season as 11.5. So the question is, do you think Clemson is likely to go undefeated, both in their conference play and win against Georgia, where they are favored? Is that more likely than a one-loss or two-loss season, given all of the offensive power and production they have to replace, and the big early matchup against maybe the most talented defense in all of college football in a neutral site in Georgia? So while Clemson returns a lot of talent and brings in a lot of talent, key experience positions on the offensive side of the ball will decide their future this season. So let's take a look at the Clemson schedule, and let's remember that even during this great run, it's been more likely than not in any given season that Clemson will lose at least a conference game, and here they have to play Georgia non-conference as well. So first up, Clemson plays Georgia at a neutral site with all this offensive talent they're having to bring in and replace for the experience they had last season against the very talented Georgia defense. We favored Georgia to pull the upset and Clemson to fail that 11.5 win total right out of the gate with a loss to Georgia. But then the schedule gets a lot softer. Clemson plays South Carolina State, easy win. They face the Nerds of Georgia Tech, who they continue to bulldoze, another easy win. They play at NC State. NC State's a hot pick in some quarters this season, but the talent differential is big. This could be a trap game. It's an early season game for a lot of new offensive players. It's on the road, so there's a possibility of an upset, though we're not forecasting it here. We still have Clemson winning. Then Clemson plays Boston College, who gave them a heck of a game last season for their homecoming at home. We don't think Boston College is able to replicate and repeat what they've done recently in making it even close and competitive. We see Clemson rolling. Clemson again gets their bye before they get to travel up to upstate New York in the Carrier Dome and play Syracuse. Syracuse has had a weird way of giving Clemson tight games, particularly tight first halves over the last several seasons, but the talent differential is as massive as it's ever been. We don't see the Orange of Syracuse upsetting the Tigers of Clemson. Another win for the Tigers. Then Clemson travels to Pitt. This, too, could be another one of those trap games. Tough, resilient team playing at home with a good home fan base. But again, the talent differential is massive in favor of Clemson, so we favor Clemson to win again. Then Clemson gets Florida State at home. And 5-10 years ago, this might have been a heck of a game. Right now, it's not looking like one. Again, massive talent edge for Clemson. As Florida State's recruiting has fallen on some hard times, we see Clemson winning again, especially at home. Then Clemson gets Louisville at home. And while Clemson has had, some surprise conference matchups at home like the one against Boston College last year, we don't see Louisville pulling the upset here as the talent differential is, again, massive. Then Clemson plays at home to Connecticut. That game's over in the first 10 minutes. Then Clemson gets Wake Forest, which can be a tough, fun little team. But again, the talent differential is massive. Another easy win for Clemson. Then Clemson travels to their SEC rivals, out-of-conference rivals, but in-state rivals, South Carolina and the Fighting Chickens. And they got a lot of problems in their first year with the Fighting Chickens. This is likely going to be another Clemson steamroll. So the only game we see them losing this year is the Georgia game, though, again, they're more likely than not to lose a conference game under Dabo Swinney in the last 10 years. So we put Clemson's win total over under at 11 or 10.5. That's below the 11.5 at Vegas. So we recommend taking the under for the season win total for Clemson at 11.5. But do expect the Tigers to be back in the playoffs and in the national title hunt once again, especially as that offense starts clicking and they start steamrolling the rest of their schedule. Remember, folks, if you like Sports Wars, like, share, and subscribe. And if you want free college football and NFL picks and predictions all year long, you can become a member at sportspicks.locals.com for free. Thanks, everybody.